Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video we're going to be going back to things that I used to do in my videos, and we're going to be doing some new player guides, so to speak. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 free-to-play characters that are available that you should be building right now. So this video is aimed towards more newer and mid-game players who maybe need some suggestions in terms of characters that are available. I want to stress that because the farmability in this game is still really bad, normally about 6 to 9 months out or more, or who knows. And so, a lot of the good characters that are in the game's meta are not available. That's just how things are. But there are a handful of good characters that are still worth thinking about that are available for you to pick up that I think are worth it. Now, for me, when I say that they're worth it, that means that there's some relevance to the game's meta, that there's a reason why you're going to want to shard farm them, unlock them, or use them. So there may be some people who think that I don't know what I'm talking about, but it is what it is. So this will be going over all of the best characters that I think that you should be picking up. So if you're ready to go, everybody, then let's boil this down. Now, we're going to be starting off from the bottom of the list anyways, and this is supposed to be a bit of a top 10 video, but I don't know if there's necessarily 10 characters, and some of them I'm going to lump together because I think they're a bit of a package deal. And some of you who, aren't new players probably already know what I'm talking about anyways. And so the first character, which I would label kind of on number 10, on the bottom of the list, who I think still has some pretty good value, is Shang-Chi. So Blitz stores are available from the beginning of the game, like pretty much. And it's very easy to obtain. Shang-Chi is still, well, he's an old character. He hits really, really hard, especially if you're not using the time heist boost to get some of these characters. Shang-Chi is an incredibly powerful character that hits really hard. His ultimate hits really hard. Very solid character. He's usable in the block party, which isn't super great, but just as a standalone character, honestly, I still have value in him, and even today, I have him at gear tier 17, because I actually think that there's some really strong value, and with the current lack of powerful standalone skill characters, that Shang-Chi is actually a really good character. So as you can see, I have him at level 90. Gear tier 17, 7 red stars, and so he is a very solid character, very easily accessible for once, because a lot of good characters typically are not accessible very well, and he is one of those ones that you should consider picking up. Now, number 9, of course, is going to be none other than, where is he? I should have had them set up in advance. OG Cap. Captain America. So Captain America is part of the Rebirth raid team, the bio raid team that is going to be used for, I'm going to say, late to end game content, but he is a very good character in his own right. He has a lot of different synergies with Wave 1 Avengers, Avengers more broadly, S.H.I.E.L.D., and of course his Rebirth new team that came out early this year. And so he is very easily accessible as well, which is why I wanted to add him to this list. He is available in Nexus 1-3, which is super early. I think this is like by level 20 or less. And so you can get farming on him really easily. Now, he is available in a handful of other orbs, including the Legacy 1 orb, for new players that pick that up. But definitely a must-have. He is a character that I'm actually going to be taking to gear 18 for Dark Dimension 6. So he is still a solid character for all players, honestly, at this point in time. And he is the main tank as well for the Rebirth team. And having him higher up is just going to be really awesome. So definitely a number 9 here that I recommend bringing up Cap if you haven't already. Coming in at number 8. Now, this is going to be a bit of a package deal because I felt that it was kind of, you needed all of them or nothing. And this is going to be new warriors, but specifically we're talking about Cloak, Dagger, and Deathpool, because Firestar and Gwenpool are not farmable. There may be opportunities, actually. In fact, there's been recent opportunities to pick some shards up for them in the Strike Pass and the RTA Pass, but otherwise, Cloak and Dagger specifically are very strong together. Now, they have a lot of duo synergy, especially with their ult mechanics, to have them on the team. So you really kind of want to have both or neither of them, honestly. And then Deathpool kind of gets in there to kind of, make them even better. So where can you find Cloak? You can find Cloak in the raid store. So you can pick him up in the raid orb or just in the raid supplies generally. He's also in the alpha raid orb. He also actually has his own node on Villains Hard Mode 2.6 if you still need that. But that doesn't unlock unlock until level 75 plus, so do keep that in mind as well. Cloak is a very strong character. I am debating on whether or not I want to take him into Dark Dimension City for 6. I think that might be a bit too far for me, but nonetheless, they hold a lot of good value as a Cosmic Crucible team. Dagger, where you're going to find her is you're going to find her in the arena store. I don't know why I stuttered there for a minute. And of course, the Alpha Raid Orb as well. And so you can just, and actually she has her own Villains Hard Mode node where you can also get Training Orb Fragments. So I do this on occasion, even though I've maxed her out, if I need to farm Training Orb Fragments, so keep that in mind there. Deathpool is going to be in the Milestone Orb 3, and you can find her still in, I think she's still a Premium Orb exclusive. They haven't changed that over in some time, but the majority of the shards that you're going to pick up for her over time is going to be in the Milestone 3 Orb, so just keep that in mind there as a trio. Now, I'm not going to go over everyone's kit. These are just the characters that I'm suggesting that you should be sharding up and working on as a newer and mid-game player. Now this next one is a big bundle. So we have to talk about, specifically it's about one character, but it's about how you unlock said character. So I think you guys know where I'm headed. Kree minions. So this is for Nick Fury, because Nick Fury is one of the best characters in the game, and I want him to be on this list, and so by proxy, I've added on the Kree minions, because you need to get farming on these characters ASAP when you're a new player. Unfortunately, for those who missed the patch for the Invaders team, there was a lot of free Kree minion shards that was being thrown around for new players to get Nick Fury unlocked. Fortunately, if you're watching this now and you missed the Invaders patch, then you still should be working on getting Nick Fury unlocked, but you do need to get the Kree minions to, I believe, 3-star for a Nick Fury unlock at the very least. A lot of these are available early on in the game. There's a variety of different nodes and stores, that the Kree Oracles in Raid Store, Kree Royal Guards in the Blitz Store, and then a lot of them are on nodes. And so you do want to, especially for the node farming, you want to get that done ASAP, because honestly, it's a pain in the ass, but the sooner that you do it, the better, and that you don't have to actually think about it later down the line. So Kree minions for Nick Fury. That's going to be my number 6 entry. I don't know what number, honestly, I don't know what number it's on right now. And the next entry is 2 different characters. They are on the same team, but I do want to kind of mention them a little bit separately. And that's going to be Brawn for the Gamma team. And he is in the Blitz Orb currently. Now, I have this feeling that he's probably going to get shuffled out soon for another character into the Blitz Orb. Normally, we see changes in the Blitz Orb roughly every 4 months. Sometime, yeah, I would say about that, honestly, because it's the easiest place where you can get a character is in the Blitz Store or the Blitz Orb. And so I see Brawn being shuffled out of the Blitz Orb and into the Blitz Store, but nonetheless, you know, you'll be able to pick up shards for him over time anyways, because he's in this orb, and he's one of the more characters that you're going to need to get for the Gamma team. And I think out of all of the Horseman team, outside of the Death Sea team, who is obviously a top tier raid team, they're not going to be on this list because none of them are farmable with the exception of Magneto. I guess I could have put Magneto in there in the same vein as the Kree minions, but I didn't, and because the rest of the team isn't farmable at this point either. Brawn and the Gamma team are, though, because they have a lot of rework characters, including Hulk, OG Hulk, and She-Hulk. But as far as the newer characters go, you know, they're really important as well. And so you can't really have a team of Gamma without them. And so that's why Brawn makes this list here, and he is the support character for that team. But secondly is that I wanted to include some characters that are in the Cosmic Crucible store. And so I still want to include Abomination because he's a very strong character. He's also a villain character, which some people still need for certain events. Some of the Scourge events actually call for villain characters as well. So if you need a villain character, then Abomination is there. And he's going to be really important for that Gamma team. And again, you can find him in the Crucible Elite store. So what's interesting about the Crucible Elite, no, that was the wrong store, is that there is a handful of characters. And you're probably wondering, Boilon, so all of these characters are farmable, and I'm recommending Abomination. So I'm going to tell you why I'm not currently recommending the other ones right now is because Spider-Man 2099 needs Spider-Weaver to work, and Spider-Weaver is not farmable. There was the Spider-Weaver fiasco where everyone got like a free 7-star basically, but since then she is still not farmable. And so for that reason, I don't want to recommend 2099 as a build at this point in time for new players. Agatha, Darkhold team, you know, I really want to. I honestly really want to, but there's so many characters on that team that you'd need to build, and Mystic is just not a priority now in the era that we're in when we're going to be talking about the Bifrost team, and that's going to be coming up pretty soon here, because the team this patch is the Bifrost team, which is also a Mystic team, and I think this holds a higher priority, in my opinion, than building up Darkhold as a new player, especially with Morgan Le Fay's event nowhere to be seen, but allegedly it's going to be coming in July. And then for Gambit, kind of similar reasons, but I feel that Unlimited X-Men was the one that fell off the hardest. So out of all of the Horseman teams that exist, the Darkhold team, the Unlimited X-Men team, Gamma, and Deathseed, I feel that Unlimited X-Men actually fell the hardest. And so I personally can't recommend Gambit at this time for newer players. The other characters in here are definitely not on this list for sure that you should be spending your Elite Crucible credits in. So Abomination is that for me. Agatha would be probably second, though, you know, if you need to spend or if you have lots of Elite Crucible credits sitting around like I do, or, you know, but as a newer player, you're probably not going to have that much. So I just want to mention that there. And of course, just like I was talking about with that upcoming Bifrost team, I have to mention Loki. So of the Bifrost team, he is the one that was reworked, and obviously this is a character that you can start working on right away for newer players, especially, you know, if you're in this period right now, if you're an earlier mid-game player right now, there's a good chance that you might be able to get these characters unlocked in this patch right now. So I really, and this is why he's near the top of the list, actually, because he's super important. Luckily, his shards is actually going to be available in the Vol preview event, which is going to be they keep pushing this event back, but anyways, whenever the Vol event actually goes live, then you'll be able to farm some Loki shards out of the story mode, and I believe you get actually 75 for free, so that's a pretty good head start towards like 5-star and beyond. So where else can you find Loki? Well, he's in a Blitz right now, but by the time you're watching this video, it might not be live still, maybe it will, and so that's some place to get shards. And of course, he's also in the raid store, so you can find him within just the raid store flat, or you can find him in the raid orb itself, as well as the Gamma raid orb as well. So there's plenty of places that you can get him, but I just kind of want to point him out because often when characters get reworked, when teams get reworked, it's really important that you focus on these characters because they're easily accessible, but they're also very important. Like I mentioned with OG Cap, some of these rework characters are some of the most important ones actually on a team because it's very easy to get them to like 7-star, opposed to some of the newer characters, which is a lot more challenging to get their star ranks up. So I just want to mention that. And last but not least, before we end this video, there's two characters which I'm sure you know where I'm headed, at least if you've played this game for a little bit. The Eternals. Now, I can't go anywhere without talking about these characters. Yes, they are a year and a half old. Believe it or not, the Eternals, the movie came out a long time ago, but the Eternals as a duo are just so incredibly powerful everywhere. They're so powerful that they were included in the Time Heist level 80 package, I believe, that gets you them to like gear tier 14. So hey, if you already bought the Time Heist, then you don't even need to watch this video because I'm sure you have some of the best characters available to you right now. And so Icarus and Cersei as a duo are just so powerful. I use them pretty much in every game mode, almost every day. And, you know, they are going to kind of slide a little bit with the Bifrost team coming out, but in every single other game mode, pretty much, they're still going to have value. And I would not be surprised if later down the line they decide to add more Eternals characters or characters to go with them. They have this made-up Tangled Web Eternals room in Cosmic Crucible, which I'm sure, at least for newer players, is going to be like hell. Or hell if you have them, which is great for you. So it's still a very, very strong set of characters. Icarus flips all buffs pretty much when Cersei is an ally. Just does so much damage. Turn bar, rewind. This duo is insane. I'm not going to go over their kit in their entirety, but they are must-have characters to build. Honestly, I would probably, if it wasn't such a Mystic Crunch, I might even consider taking them up to gear tier 18. That's how much I have faith in this duo because they're so powerful. You can't go anywhere without the Eternals. Where can you find Icarus specifically? He's in the raid store. They finally made him farmable after yonks years, and he is available in the Raid Orb and the Raid Supplies store directly. So that's actually fairly easy to get now. And unfortunately, though, for other players, Cersei is actually harder to get because you need to be level 75 to farm her, unfortunately. But she is found in Villains Hard Mode 2.9, and that's because the hard modes writ large are not unlocked until level 75, and so it is what it is there. But once you get to 75, make this a high priority because some of the characters that are in these hard modes, not only is it better stuff to farm because you have mini uniques that you need for your gear tiers, but some of the best characters in the game exist in the hard mode challenges as well, or hard mode nodes as well. So those are, honestly, I don't know how many characters I went over. I think this was over 10. But, you know, I lumped a few of them together because honestly, you kind of need that. There were obviously characters that I missed, but I think that some of these characters on this list, if not everyone, is still important to the game's meta overall. But obviously, there are some characters that some people may feel have more value than others. This is just my roster page. Take that with a grain of salt. And the problem is that most of the characters that are relevant aren't farmable. And so that's why this list is going to be much different than if I were to have made a top 10 characters list. Because realistically, a lot of the good characters that you need in the game's meta aren't farmable, and that's just the sad state of Marvel Strike Force when it comes to farmability. There is kind of sprinklings of shards, you know, like after a character's release, but if you miss their main unlock event, it will be a little bit of a challenge to get them unlocked, especially if they're 100 shard characters. If they're 45 shards, you might get lucky through orbs or through other random milestone events that they release down the line. But otherwise, yeah, that's it, everybody, for this video, and stay tuned for my patch tier list of patch 7.2, because that's going to be released in the not so distant future as well. We're going to be updating the one. I think I skipped 7.1, but I believe that I did a patch tier list for 7.0 as well. I forget. Anyways, we're going to be updating that, so stay tuned for that. And until next time, everybody, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.